Welcome to 52 Miniatures Christmas Eve live stream. I believe it's the 36th live stream. Please let me know if you can see me and hear me. This is a bit of an experiment. I usually have a pretty fancy live setup. Today is a special day, and so I'm streaming just straight from my laptop. Never checked these settings at all, so I'd like to know if you can hear me and see me. Is anyone there? No one's there. It's just me. Everyone's opening presents and stuff like that. Hello, Alison. Can you see me and hear me? Good morning, Geordie. Sounds and image are great. Oh, everyone's dropping in. I'm also doing this from the internet off my phone, as I'm in as you can see, I'm not in the bunker. I'm in the Woodland hideout. So things might be slow. I've got no idea. Good morning, Hooked on Funk, and David. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me and see me. Hello, Noon Slama. Ramirez, how are you doing? Merry Christmas to you as well. Marius, hello. Hello, Felix. Redgrass Games lamp, at least. Yes. That's about the extent of my painting setup. I've been working on it. I haven't really been getting that far. As you can see, it's a pretty empty bench, but I've got some paints, at least, and a wet palette, and a miniature, and a lamp. Marius asks, Merry Christmas. What did you get for Christmas? As stated, this is the traditional Christmas Eve live stream. Traditional means I've done it once before. And essentially, I think I did it last Christmas because I was like, there's quite a bit of people still about that might feel a bit lonely on a day like this because they might not be able to visit family, or are in a position where they're lonely, basically. So I thought, there should be a hobby hangout on Christmas Eve for those of you that need it. Obviously, it's nice to get a break from all the other stuff as well, but this is predominantly for the lonely people. I'm not all that lonely yet for another few hours, so I'm fine. It's a good kind of loneliness. I'm getting asked what I got for Christmas. I've been gifted a cap. Like what old men have when they're out like hunting geese or whatever. Only I need to pick one out. So that's a new style. My son made me like little wooden chopping boards for cooking, that kind of stuff that he made, which is that's like the best present when your kid makes you something. And I was given a bottle of adult beverage from Scotland, and that was kind of about it. A shirt and a shirt. That's it. We're not very extravagant for Christmas. There's lots of people dropping in. I mean, just great to see you all, and I want to just straight away say happy holidays and Merry Christmas. BGD says, greetings and Merry Christmas from Washington State, USA. I'll be scratch building some tabletop terrain today after family festivities. It sounds... I'm just... sorry. I imagine like whatever's left over from like Christmas lunch, and there's this like big half-eaten ham there's your hill, and you know, and you can play weird war games with your leftover foods. Anna Karin, how are you doing? Hello, working on a diorama with dinosaurs. So nice to have this on. Happy forthcoming holiday, all of you. It's great to see you, Anna Karin. And Bea, Merry Christmas to you. And Happy Christmas to Joseph from Savannah. We've got Chris says Merry Christmas. And there's lots of people with great nicknames saying Merry Christmas, like Random Salutation. Go for it painting. How are you doing? ASL Baron says, I'm wishing for more Infinity and Warcraft with Alex. I'm definitely going to be doing, I hope, more Infinity. And Warcraft, like I've been getting some Warcraft miniatures and I really like them. I just haven't been able to fit that into the schedule yet. I've got two Infinity videos planned that I would like to do. They're going to be basics if I get to do them. One is going to be kind of like a start painting guide to Infinity, and another one is going to be a start playing guide to Infinity. But we'll see how that goes. Right now, I've got a miniature here. You won't be able to see it because there's no light over there, really. The darkness from a game called Malediction, which is from Loot Studios. It's a game that I'm checking out at the moment. It seems like fun. Essentially, it's a combination between a deck builder, like a card game, and a miniatures game, which is kind of fun. ASL Baron is also asking if I'm visiting US in 2025. Not that I know of. I need another bazillion patrons to be making the kind of money to afford to go over to the US. Kind of. Noon Slama asks, aren't adult drinks very expensive over there? There's a high tax on alcohol in Sweden, sure. So compared to many countries, it's kind of expensive, but it's, you know, it's to make us not drink too much, which I guess is a good thing. George says, don't forget to like the stream, which is very true because YouTube only acknowledges the fact that this stream exists if other people are liking it and watching it. And so if no one presses the like button, then it doesn't spread on people's like home pages and stuff like that. And no one essentially sees that I'm live. But you know, all the good people are here anyway, aren't you? Merry Christmas from Scanner Barkley. Thanks for another year of inspiration and motivation. Well, my pleasure, Scanner. I'm glad that you found the videos inspiring. Happy Boxing Day from Kino. You're over in Australia, and your Christmas is already over. Well, I hope it was a good Christmas. Go for it painting. Greetings from Hungary. David, happy Christmas from Belgium. Jody, Merry Christmas. How are you? And Ulik, Merry Christmas from Maryland. I'm actually up to the end of the chat. I'm always like miles behind, but everyone's busy eating stuff, and so I actually caught up. Christmas was nice. I spent it with essentially Christmas. That was a car. It's a good thing I'm hiding in the loft. No one can see me. Christmas nowadays is all about the closest sort of family, so it's a little small affair. And I was lunch, and that was it. I don't think I'm very huge on Christmas, really. It's lovely to have an excuse to get some time off and to make maybe gifts and give gifts is always nice. But I'm not like huge on Christmas. Like some people are really huge on Christmas and decorate their entire houses with Christmassy things. I got a small tree downstairs that we borrowed from the forest. I dug it up, roots and all, and then we can put it back when we're done or adopt it. and take it into the city. I don't know what a Christmas tree would be doing in a bunker. We'll see. Stretch, how are you doing? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Mark from Montana, how are you doing? Merry Christmas, Mark. I read your email today about your son creating a game. I'll have to check it out. But Merry Christmas. Clyde Dashing, how are you doing? Ho, ho, ho. And Victor Riviera. It's all the nice people are here. Oh, Tom writes, Frohe Weihnachten aus Berlin. Ja, das ist gut. Tom, thank you. My German isn't really up to scratch. Felix says, having time off sounds nice. My mother-in-law asked us yesterday around noon if we could get some presents for the boys. She forgot to buy some. And today she slept in and missed her train. Oh dear. At least they'll be getting their presents then. Daniel says, Merry Christmas from Norway. Merry Christmas to you too. Ramirez says, borrowing trees from the forest. I wonder what IOU looks like. I mean, I can't, it was like a combination of the fact that, you know, if you're going to go chop trees down in the forest, you kind of you need to ask the landowner who owns the tree, essentially, or you're stealing it. You can't be stealing trees. And I couldn't really be bothered with that. Should I be saying this on a recorded stream? Probably. So I figured if I borrow it, it's fine, because then I can just put it back. You know. So it's in like a big pot thing with soil and stuff. And it looks really happy. We do, however, have a mouse. The mouse ate the Christmas chocolate. And a lot of the bread. It seems to have been living in like a couch. Couch is the wrong word. It's like a sofa, but it's hard, made out of wood. So it's like a bench, but there's a little compartment in it that we just kept some spare pillows in it and didn't really pay much attention to the fact that there might be a mouse living there until the mouse ventured out and like walked out on the floor and like looked up at us and was like, what are you guys doing here? This is my house. I'm gonna go eat my stuff. I mean your stuff. And kind of same as with the tree. I think I'm a bit I'm not great at the like killing part. You know, there's a story about Christmas trees. There's this, I can't remember if is it Danish? If it's H.C. Andersen, or I can't remember. It's about a Christmas tree that's jealous about all the other Christmas trees because all the other Christmas trees get picked. You know, they get decorated and all of this stuff, and the Christmas tree is like jealous because it doesn't happen to him. And then it does. Only someone like saws it off and it hurts, and then you put it inside, and then no one gives you anything to drink, and then when you're done, they just throw you out and you're discarded. Makes me feel sorry for Christmas trees, really. And with the mouse, we're going to try and get the traps so we can trap it and then drive far away and release it to new, you know, maybe a neighbor that one doesn't like. We could go. I don't really have one. If I did, I could, you know, congratulations, here's a mouse that can eat your chocolate. We've trained it. But yeah. So sometimes I can hear it running around inside the walls or something. Old Man B 1981 says, Merry Christmas, Alex. You really should have an ASMR channel as well. You have an amazing voice. Thank you. I'm still awaiting the audiobook people calling me, going, "Hi, we would like to give you lots of money to speak into a microphone," but they haven't yet. Um, Tom talks about stealing Christmas trees, 600 of them. That's a lot. I was just after one. Brendan, not Brenda. Brendan and Brenda are kind of two very different things. Merry Christmas to you too. Emil, Merry Christmas. George, cool idea. Real Christmas trees are great, and it's always a pity to throw away weeks later. Or to see the mountains of thrown away trees gathered for the right recycling. I guess the good part is they burn it up to like heat housing, like at least here in Sweden. But I agree. I know there's a firm in Sweden where you rent a tree, so they drive it out and it's in a pot, and then when you're done, they pick it up and then they keep it for next Christmas. But yeah, Alison only uses the finest of pre-killed trees for Christmas. I mean, it does fit, doesn't it? Like the blood and the murder and the grim dark, the massacre of poor creatures of the forest, and that. Alison says, around here the Christmas trees are used as baby fish habitat in the local rivers once the ice melts. Huh, that's funny. What they like living in old trees, the little fishies. George says, we have some friendly mice visiting our balcony, second floor. They like cheese a lot. Yeah, you just wait until they move inside and start asking for chocolate. Stretch is good. Nice morning with my dad. Currently eating some Korean fried chicken and will shortly take the dog out for a walk. Nice. It doesn't sound it doesn't sound like a very intense Christmas thing, which sounds awfully relaxing. Mark from Montana says, I think H.C. Anderson may have had abandonment issues. I think H.C. Anderson wrote lots of might have possibly had more issues than just that, but it's nice. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your letters there, but greetings back to Ukraine. I hope you're doing okay. Thomas Salo says, I hope to listen to the stream as background inspiration for painting my WGA Samurai Cavalry, but now I can't find my palettes. Christmas cleaning is dangerous. I mean, just make like a temporary one. But that would take time, wouldn't it? I was the opposite. I've found 3 pallets, or 3 wet pallets, when I was just looking for one. Bill Making Stuff says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well, Bill. I hope you have a wonderful day with your cat and family. Olo says, catching you live. What a pleasure. I've watched some of your videos in the meantime, and this is probably the perfect moment for a small but heartfelt message. Thank you. Take care. Stay healthy and keep it up. You're a very pleasant person. You haven't met me in real life. Just watch out. YouTube can hide many a weirdo. Just kidding. I appreciate it, Olo. I'm glad to hear you've been watching the videos, and I hope to be making more of them for you. JJ says, so for the holiday, I received the Doomed, which is a cool game, I believe, from Osprey Games. And Freaks, yep, also from Osprey Games. Sorry, you even wrote it there, from Osprey Games. My boy received Necromunda and Perry Miniatures American Civil War. Nice. I didn't get anything hobby related for Christmas, but I have to admit to the fact that I'm not lacking, and so it kind of feels strange wishing for things like that for Christmas, because I've already get, as you would know, people send me things. I get paint and miniatures and all that kind of stuff. So um, I'm pretty good. Bill's asking what I'm drinking. This is PG Tips. Merry Christmas to you. Nothing more exciting than that. I've also got water in a jug. See, I can demonstrate. Just if that didn't make you want to go pee, I don't know what would. Cheers, Bill. God jul från Schönhage Svensson. Roddy Reed says Merry Christmas to you too as well. And Paulo Gomez, Merry Christmas to you too. Clyde Dashing says YouTube weirdos are my people. Well, you've got plenty to choose from there, Clyde, don't you? Daniel Beckman asks, will you paint up for this quads war? I don't. I haven't got a plan right now. For those of you that haven't heard of it, Quads War is it a skirmish game? I guess it's a skirmish game and not a war game. But there's these creatures that kind of look like moles, but in like First World War outfits. Moles, the little things that dig holes in the ground. But they're called quars. It looks absolutely great, and I had a look at it last year at the convention I was in, where I met Bill Making Stuff, by the way, in London. That was called Salute. They were demoing. I can't remember if that's War Games. I think, is that War Games Atlantic? Maybe. But yeah, no, I haven't got a plan. I've got flies. So there's a mouse problem and there's a fly problem. The flies I have no issue eradicating. I think they go to sleep in summer or something, and then when you kind of heat the place up in winter, turn the lights on, it's like a horror movie. It's like the fly eats me kind of thing. Anyway, there's a few of them left, but I hope to have vacuumed them is actually what I've been doing. It probably kind of looks funny, someone running around with a vacuum cleaner trying to catch flies, but there we are. But no, I haven't planned to paint up or play this quads war yet, because I've got too much other things on the list at the moment. I've got other plans. That's basically it. So it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that I can't really squeeze it in at the moment. Paolo says, I'm starting to paint infinity models and they are fun to paint. I agree. A lot of people think they're a bit fiddly because they're small and detailed. I enjoy that for some reason. I think they're also kind of, because of the very sharp detail, they suit sort of contrast paints and speed paints and stuff like that, and washes and oil washes and things pretty well. So I enjoy them. Alison Silverhair says, friendly reminders, smooshing the like button, and feel free and help Alex continue to do live streams like this. Indeed, please press the like button. Clyde Dashing says, tea is a good idea. I'll put the kettle on. It is a good idea. It keeps me warm as well. This place is a bit chilly. As it turns out, bunkers are cold and woodland hideouts are chilly. Merry Christmas to you as well, Cameron from Scotland. Victor Riviera asks, do you have a typical Christmas season drink? Here in Puerto Rico, it's called coquito, similar to eggnog, but without the egg part. I think, Victor, that I've had similar things from other countries in South America. I'm trying to remember what the Chilean version is called. Oh, I'll remember soon. I hope. But I believe I've had similar things in other South American countries. In Sweden, the seasonal drink, yeah, there's essentially one that isn't. It's not alcoholic. It's called the must. It's kind of like soda made off of just burnt sugar. It's kind of brown. It tastes a bit like toffee-ish, but it's fizzy. And we also drink glögg, which would then be alcoholic, which is in German would be like Glühwein. So essentially, red wine with sugar and spices in it that's heated. Yes, warm red wine with spices and sugar. Alison asks, the real question, Bill, is what are you drinking? And if not, why not? Indeed. Now I'm falling back behind the chat. Gin and tonic, Bill. Is that very Christmassy? Shouldn't you be having like, is there at least cardamom or something in the gin and tonic? Cocoa tea. Cocoa tea? No. The Chilean one? No. They put pisco in it instead, so it's like eggnog without the egg yolk, and they put pisco in it instead of brandy, kind of. Anyway, palette found. Congratulations, Tumo. You can start painting. Anna Karin has to pop off to pick up some guests at the airport. Have a nice Christmas, Anna Karin. Rialdo says there's an Infinity tournament in Uppsala in January. If you're in the area, you'd be more than welcome to see some Infinity in action. Thank you, Rialdo. I'll bear it in mind. I might get scared. I'm potentially scared of competitions because of how good people are at rules and playing games, and I'm still stuck at page 1. And so competitions scare me a little bit. Not that I'd even consider joining, just watching them, and I'm like, oh, it's too much. I'll just go paint, you know. Wolvencraft, how are you doing? Merry Christmas to you as well. I hope you're doing good. Frantic Moss, good Jul, Merry Christmas. Street Surgery says, just wanted to say your alternative beginner's guide, saying just paint worked as great motivation, and I painted for the first time in a long time yesterday. I'm very glad to hear it. Street Surgery. You didn't actually get street surgery though, I hope, because it sounds kind of possibly infectious and definitely scarring. But I'm glad to hear it. It was a tricky video to make. I think I spent a week writing a script that in the end, I'm not even sure why it took a week to write, but it was just, it was fun, but it was challenging. So I'm glad to hear it when people say that it worked, essentially. Sean, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Hello, Sean. I hope you're doing well. Victor Rivera says, Glühwein is nice. I tried it on a trip Yeah, to Germany. It is nice. I think the Swedish version is a bit different from the German version, but principally it's the same. Um, to warm you up in the. I mean, this is. I can show you. Are you ready for the sightseeing? It's not much of a sightseeing, but this is what Christmas looks like. Oh, you can see my screen. This is darkness, and that's about it. And so you kind of need Glühwein to keep you going. If you're bent that way, obviously. Congratulations to everyone staying sober. That should be staying sober. Sean says, finding this was a pleasant surprise this morning. I'm glad to hear it, Sean. I forgot, but then remembered that, wait a minute. I did a stream on Christmas Eve last year, I think. And so I should do one today as well for everyone, lonely. Stretch says, having COVID paid to my tea drinking. Put end to my tea drinking, maybe? I still miss tea. Why did COVID make you not drink tea? Have I missed something? Clyde Dashing says, PG tips for the win. Have you started on your war transformed army? I haven't, Clyde, but I intend to. I'm getting quite a few kits. So to start from the beginning, a war transformed is a game I'm making a 6x4 foot gaming table for it. It's an army game, which is sort of an alternative World War One, a weirder World War One, but it still takes place, a few years after World War One, and lots of weird things happens, and there's magic and there's witches and all this stuff, but it's still kind of like a bit like World War One. It's not inspired by the World War One aesthetic, like game crusade thingy, trench crusade, which would maybe be a bit more into the future, for example. This is more like it is World War One, only alternative settings and weird things happen, and magic and folklore and all of that kind of stuff. And I need to make an army or two for it. And I'm hopefully starting next year. What was that? Did you see? Was that an alien flying past right then? I've ordered plastic kits from War Games Atlantic. I'm also 3D printing out bits and collecting other bits. And my plan right now is to at least partly build it as live streams. We'll see how that goes, but I've always wanted to do more regular live streams, and it doesn't work out because my mind locks in the fact that it's best to live stream when most people can watch live streams, and that's usually weekends and at a time when Europe has not gone to bed and the Americas have gotten out of bed in the morning. And so that means kind of like late afternoon or evening on weekends. And that doesn't work out. Spending, all my weekend evenings streaming, it just, that's why it doesn't happen, because that doesn't work out with life. And so I've decided to start streaming during work hours, because then I can actually just say, no, sorry, this day of the week is a day I'll be streaming. I won't take, assignments or do other things with that time. I can actually put it aside, and it's still like not sacrificing time with my son or with friends or with other stuff. And so the initial plan is Tuesdays, probably before lunch Swedish time, which totally narrows down, like, the US will be asleep and most of Europe will be working, you know. But at least maybe I can make it into a regular thing, so that people at least know that, oh, it's 11 o'clock or whatever, on a Tuesday. I know Alex from 52 Minutes is streaming. Um, so I'm going to try that out at least, and then the plan is for that stream to be only pretty much kit bashing weird World War One miniatures for a War Transformed. They could obviously be used for any similar type war game, but that's the plan. Thanks for asking, Clyde. Let's see. George said, we tasted Swedish glue wine in Stockholm last year. One almond, but no alcohol inside. Oh, yeah, we put almonds and raisins in them, and there is alcohol-free versions as well. Yeah. Ramirez says, rainy Christmas day there. We almost had that in Michigan too. Same cloud overhead. Yeah, there hasn't snowed a week back or something, but it's just melted. It's like 7 degrees plus outside. It should be like at least 7 minus, and there should be snow, but there isn't. And I'm blaming Trump. I mean, I've got to blame someone. Go for a painting says, don't forget to hit the like button. Indeed. I totally agree. Adrian says, very happy to have stopped drinking. I only drank to calm myself so I could socially interact. Indeed. And good on you, Adrian. So very slowly. Sorry, I need, because when you're out in like this, in your hideout in the country, the sound of cars makes you paranoid. I'm not a paranoid person. I'm just wondering who's driving past at this hour. Okay, they seem to have left. Adrian says, it would be interesting to have a world where trench warfare has gone on so long that a civilization lives there permanently and creates towns underground. I think that is kind of what Trench Crusade is, if I've understood things correctly, ish. I've only browsed it, but it's kind of like the trench warfare that has been going on for thousands of years, kind of a thing. I might be making this up. That's just what I think. John Ashley Smith, how are you doing? Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Mark from Montana says, my son and I have completed a squad each of Germans, French, and British troops, all from War Games Atlantic for War Transformed. We should be ready to play in 2026 or 2027. It's good stuff, Mark. It's kind of the way with games, isn't it? But yeah, I got the kit from War Games Atlantic of French and British. I also got conquistadors, peasants, medieval peasants, and stuff for weird kit bashing. Felix would watch me while streaming, which is good. Stretch says, it was a lost of taste thing. Tea doesn't taste the same anymore. I still crave tea. I forgot about that. I've probably had COVID 2 or 3 times, but it never happened. Never got the taste bud thing happening. I'm sorry to hear it, Stretch. Adrian says another dark idea with a trench warfare game is that an army learns to gather the life force of dead soldiers and uses that to keep themselves going, or even create weapons that use them as power. I think that it sounds like Trench Crusade as well. There's a thing in a War Transformed, because it works out of sort of a so magic has returned to Earth. Obviously there was magic. We all know this from Stonehenge. And it's returned, and it takes the shape of more sort of pagan magic. So there's a moon goddess, and then there's like a god of the hunt, kind of a thing. You can obviously make any gods up, but imagine more sort of something that people would have believed in a long time ago, that hasn't got anything to do with like organized religion like Christianity and stuff like that, and also that isn't necessarily Viking lore, or just pagan stuff. Usually there's always a god of hunt, and there's a goddess of the moon, and there's these are like universal kind of pagan things that we've worshipped. But one thing is that all these gods want sacrifice, and they kind of like blood sacrifice is the best thing. And what's happened is that nothing really grows anywhere. Like farming and stuff like that is really difficult to handle. You need to sacrifice and keep the gods happy for things to grow. And because they like blood sacrifice, then things like battlefields become really lush, because things grow out of the blood, that kind of a vibe. Um, and so, potentially warfare can be fought because you want to kill people, because you want to make sure your crops grow, because you need to make that blood sacrifice, which puts just a really evil twist to the setting. And it's no longer about politics, it's about like survival, and feeding your nation means you need to field armies to just kill people so that the blood will make the crops grow. It's nasty. John Ashley Smith says, even if you're paranoid, it doesn't mean they're not out to get you. And then there's the mouse and the rats and let's not speak about what exists in the forest. You should see the boars. You don't actually see the boars, because they just run around secretly at night, which is lucky, because they'll probably maul you if you step on them. But you can like see the remains of what they've done to the forest in the mornings and during the day, because they go out and like they dig up mushrooms or whatever. And yeah, that kind of looks like a war zone as well. And then sometimes I accidentally kind of peed on a fox the other day ish. All these weird things happen when you're out in the country. Now I can hear the mouse. It's in a wall over there somewhere. I should actually, okay. Can you read this? Wait. Let's take a break, everyone. Everyone needs to go refill their drink. Bill needs another gin and tonic. And I need to go put a log on the fire. I'm sorry about that short interruption. See, there's this kind of stove thing downstairs. You actually need to go outside, downstairs, outside, and then into another door. And it kind of keeps the entire house warm because that thing is a chimney and it gets warm. And so, you know, when you don't put logs in the fire, the whole house goes cold. And yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Merry Christmas, says Seppelfart, which is an excellent nickname. Uh, Merry Christmas from Denmark, says Robin. Morgan says, I'm a bit envious at the moment because my son is building his Cities of Sigmar spearhead box. And my best friend builds this rattling cooking in a war thingy, but I'm preparing dinner. Yeah. Maybe when they do the washing up, you can do your hobbying beer. Adrian says Trench Crusade has stolen my ideas, or I'm making things up. But it all sounds, you know, it's also a little bit like generic game design. It's like what's the nastiest thing we can think of, and everyone thinks of the nastiest thing, which is the same thing because it's the nastiest thing, and there is only one nastiest thing. Alison says, Happy holidays to all. I'm going to lurk in the background while I try to engineer this infernal entrapturus, the Slanesh harp model. It's so big. Is that, and that must be another, because you had the one playing the flesh harp. Is that not also a Slanesh model? Anyway, good luck with your Slaneshi harps, Alison. Solaris, Merry Christmas to you as well. Paula has to go. Hope more videos of you and yours. Most certainly. Hugs from Portugal. Hugs from Sweden. Spicy Pete says, I got chased by a goose when I went for a walk once where I live. See, it's dangerous. Outside is dangerous. Thomas says, it's probably a burglar car. Keep the lights on and they'll go to the next place. Yeah, no, it's just the far away neighbors. I think someone who lives in a house down the road kind of works like a on-call vet or something like that. / burglar, obviously. Felix says, all that talk about mouse made me continue my kit bash, a clan rat coming out of a sewage pipe. I should do one of a mouse coming out of a chocolate pack. Clan rat. The chocolate clan rats. Stretch says, hands up everyone who went for a pee during this interlude. Alas, I only refilled the wood. Bia says, perhaps I got some plastic too. A spearhead box of the Night Haunt. Nice one. Yeah. No hobby stuff for me for Christmas, but it's fine. As I said, I've already got plenty. I did get this. I got this last year. The army painter was doing this thing. They wanted you to like paint a dragon and stuff, and I didn't. But my son saw this and says, Dad, I want that dragon. So we assembled a dragon for him, and I primed it white so that we can probably just go at it with one big sloppy layer of some kind of contrast paint. Red, I'm thinking. But this is typical kind of if you're a kid and you want a dragon, this is a cool thing. So he's going to slap on all the red contrast paint, and then I'll probably help him paint like eyes and claws. And it was very important that the gold really should be looking like gold, so I promised to help him with that as well. So that's a project for the next few days. Hopefully we'll see how it goes. His hobbying is kind of on and off. Sometimes it's great fun and sometimes it's not. And I have to paint this. I actually really like this model. It's kind of difficult for me to show you. What if I move this closer? Ooh, see, there's this light thing. Whoa. Yep. See? Professional at work. It's some kind of a priest fella. I just think it looks really cool. And I kind of want to make it, I think, red and black. Maybe with a bit of gold, or maybe not. It feels like it should be red and black. And it's larger. It's like a 40-something mil mini. So slightly larger. I can't remember what the other games that are in that scale is like that. The Star Wars game and the Marvel game, aren't they like 40-something mil, 42-ish? Which means that I printed them. It's a game called Malediction, and I'm playing it with some newly found friends, and I printed some minis for them as well if they wanted to paint. And one of them is like more of an old, big, not giant, but a pretty big fella. The print was like this size, which is, for reference, paint tub, kind of bigger than. So there's some of them really big because the scale is larger. But yeah. Bill making stuff is asking me if I'm going to Salute this year. I actually would really like to, Bill, because I enjoyed myself last time, and it was really nice meeting people like yourself. And but I need to look over finances and see when it is, and if that's one of the weeks I have my son or not. Stuff like that. But I'd like to, yeah. It's been on my mind. Bill says I'll stick around after for dinner if you like this time. That's good. I've been, but that sounds good. I was talking to someone else as well who might be doing something as well at the same time. That sounded fun. That I don't want to talk about in a live stream, but I can talk to you in a private message. See, it's the behind the scenes YouTube created secret world, which it probably isn't. I just don't want to say it in public because I don't know if it's going to happen. And then if I say something, then that's just stupid. But I'll tell you secrets later, Bill. Clyde Dashing says burglar veterinarians, bane of the countryside. Indeed. I was thinking of the, like, when they go up the cow and then they come and break into your house, and messy. Mark from Montana, great joining this lovely event. Family is arriving. I'm across the country in NJ. What's NJ? New Jersey? New Jersey. Maybe because it's not New York. So I must depart. Merry Christmas, Mark. It was great to see you. I hope you have a lovely time with family. Spicy Pete paints doing Christmas tomorrow as our boys are with their other parents today, but they both asked for Warhammer at age 4 and 5. Yeah, bless them. I hope your wallet can handle it, Spicy Pete. But no, it's great stuff. My son hasn't really hooked onto that. I know he has friends who's like hooked onto um, Warhammer, and like my son would definitely. He has the if he'd want to, he could just go to my bunker and grab something and be like, "I've got Warhammer now," but he's never really hooked onto it. And he likes to paint some now and again, but he also likes playing chess and doing other little things. So it's not, Pokemon cards though. It's all about the Pokemon cards. Sophia says, Merry Christmas to you too. And Hazeman, Merry Christmas. And to you as well, Hazeman. George says, I printed the same priest yesterday. It's a free mini from their promo set. Yeah. I've got access to a bunch of stuff because I'm making a video on it. And I've tried initially playing the first round of the game. But this mini, I just still thought it stood out and I really like it. And so I want to paint it. I want to paint another one as well. So my plan was to paint this now during this stream, which obviously isn't going to happen because I'm just blabbering. But it's here. And there's some red and some almost black. I was going to prime it black, but my primer had gone bad. My black airbrush primer was half solidified, and all I had lying around was a can of brown primer. So it's going to be brown, but I figured that's probably all right because I want to do it black and red. And so it would have been nice to get all the black, and I would then have had black in all the crevices. See, that's the downside, isn't it? Now I figured, well, brown's fine because that'll help the red along. But I kind of hate having to go in and paint in every single crevice, which is when something's black. What's my phone doing? Siri, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the miniature. Okay? Bye. Okay. Slimehouse, how are you doing? Theo, I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Merry Christmas. Dread High says, recently kit bashed questing knights for my Bretonia army. Do you like kit bashing as well? I forgot how much I enjoy doing that. I do enjoy kit bashing, definitely. I think it's like the most fun thing when it comes to, because you just, even if it's just small things, you kind of create your own little army. So I've got plenty of videos on different projects that have been kit bashed. Even just head swaps and stuff like that. It like personalizes whatever it is you're working on. And so if you buy, like for me, I did a lot of kit bashing on my Stormcast and just small things like shields and head swaps. Just makes them mine, and I enjoy that. I also just enjoy creating a little story around, it might be a war band with a specific theme or something like that, and you just try and envision that and build that. It's a lot of fun. Hazeman says, I'm not jealous of these DMs. There's no fear of missing out. Yeah. It's actually not. It's just yeah. Um, I don't want to say things that aren't actually going to happen or are potentially just rumors. Um, so Anton says, "Hey Alex, Merry Christmas. I miss your Grimdark Stormcast Eternal videos. They inspired me to build my own Stormcast Eternals army. Got my pile of shame now. 5k points. All the best to you. Keep going." I'm glad you like them. I I miss having a project like that as well. This was also obviously great to be doing like Warhammer and Stormcast because a lot of people do the same. I just kind of got fed up, never reaching the point of having an army I could, I set out like this is my army, and then it takes too long for me to kit bash it and build it and paint it, and so when it's time to play, then there's so many rules have been updated that it's not fun to play because things don't work. So you want to change things out, and then they drop new rules and all this stuff. Um, and so it just made me feel like I wanted to take a bit of a break from the Stormcast and essentially Warhammer in general. Um, but I do enjoy. I was really so excited for the Stormcast and that army, and so I'm also a bit feel. It's a bit of a shame that that was sort of felt like that was just the excitement was taken away from me. I don't care about the miniatures. Like it's just plastic toy soldiers, but it was more that that childish sort of, ooh, they're releasing things, and then like it was like, oh, they're still releasing things, and oh, now they released even more things. um Probably should have picked another faction that doesn't get like completely totally like the Stormcast. Just there's so much new stuff every single release. It's like doing Space Marines. um but I'm sure a new situation like that will arise, but I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to like start painting some other Age of Sigma army just because I think it would be good for views or whatever. I try and as much as possible keep. See, did you see that? There was a fly. It attacked me. Bloody murder. Doesn't even like. Shouldn't it be scared like of dragons? Fly. You see this fly? No. But yeah, I'm glad you like the Stormcast videos. Solaris says, I got this Quads War starter set for Christmas. Looking forward to trying that. We were talking about that a little bit earlier on the stream, Solaris. I got a question if I was going to check it out. And I've seen it played at a convention, but I haven't got a plan of doing it as of now because I've got lots of other things I want to do as well. But it does look really fun and cool. And quirky in a good way. Spicy Pete says, about to tackle a knight errant, my first large model. Pretty excited about it. I kind of like the big Warhammer models because for some reason I never felt that they took much longer than the small ones. I don't know why. It's a strange thing. Yeah. Haig says, about your Stormcast army, I think all your minis are just as playable as new because the range updates is more a look refresh than a change in the nature of the units. Makes yours unique. I mean, I agree. And I can just proxy things. Like, it's not like I'm playing official Warhammer tournaments or whatever. For me, it's the concept of, like I said, they just killed the spark. It's like wanting to suck so much money out of people because it's like pushing miniatures like this is the best you'll ever see, and this is so cool, and you really need to get it, and you get that, and you buy it, and you go, wow, this is really cool. This is all I need. This is the best I've ever seen. And then, like a couple of years later, it's just the same thing again. And it's like, sorry, we're going to remove these. We're going to make new ones, and again, they're going to be the best you've ever seen. And we're going to just, and if you don't get them, you're losing out. And that whole thing just takes the fun out of it for me. And so, sure, I can play the miniatures I've got, obviously, but I'm not interested in the game anymore, right now, because it just that attitude of there's tons of armies that could get refreshed models that are really old, and you could why do you have to go after the ones that are just a few years old? I've talked about this in videos. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Everyone keeps saying that I could play them, and yes, but that's not what it's about. It's about that I just don't feel like playing the game, because I think the how we're just treated like cash cows kind of makes me feel a bit icky. Okay. By the way, Games Workshop, if you actually answer all the emails I've sent you, about 3, asking, it'd be fun to get some miniatures sent out, then maybe I'll change my mind. Let's see if that works. DM 51974 says, Merry Christmas and all the very best for 2025. Right back at you. What's that? There's so many creatures. There's also lots of spiders. I don't mind spiders, though, because they eat flies. Mauricio says, hey, Alex, Merry Christmas, and all the way from Colombia. I've been loving your indie game videos. I'm glad to hear it, and I hope you're doing well. And Merry Christmas to you, too. Hazeman says, I'm nearly 30k points deep into Stormcast. I don't know how much I've got. Maybe 5 or something. I've got no idea. Essentially 2 or 3 armies worth. Can you be quiet, Fly? Oh, there's 2 of them now. Just chill. I'm live streaming. Short Thought says, what's your opinion on Malifaux? I've only browsed the miniatures at some point. I can't remember for what. There was some project that I was looking for different miniatures for, and I was looking at them, and I thought they were very cool, and that's about the only extent actually that I put into looking at Malifaux. I haven't tried reading any rules or anything like that. I think somewhere inside of me there's stupid person that really wants army games, which is annoying, because painting armies is a pain compared to painting something with less miniatures in it. But for some reason, that's sort of a big part of like the aesthetic that I'm after. Like the big end goal is having the army with the lots and lots of miniatures. Like I'm kind of almost more interested in checking out a historic war game than checking out Malifaux, just because I want that all the Roman soldiers on the table. It's just a thing. It's really impractical when it's given the fact that it takes me so long to paint miniatures. But we need to keep the dream alive, regardless if it makes sense or not. Dreadhigh says, love that you almost genuinely the fact that the fly is not afraid of the dragon. I don't know why the fly is not afraid of the dragon. I would be like, if I was a fly, I'd be afraid of that dragon. Uh, they don't even seem to be afraid of me. I don't know if that says something about me or about the fly. Sean says, I'm going to try and kit bash Stormcast Eternals for Trench Crusade. That might make a fun video. Hint, hint. Chopping up. I mean, essentially, a lot of my Stormcast, I could just chop off whatever weapons they're using and put guns on them, and it's kind of the same thing to a certain extent. But no, I'm going to try and angle my war transformed minis into the Trench Crusade niche a little bit, maybe. I mean, it's kind of a YouTube thing, but if I write that I'm keep bashing Trench Crusade minis, then twice the people will watch me than if I say I'm making minis for War Transformed, because it's just the way of the world. And then, yeah. Spicy Pete Paint says, any tips for starting a painting channel, Alex? I used to have a successful channel and podcast with thousands of views, but seem hesitant for this market as I'm not elite. I'd say my only tip would be run fast in the opposite direction. No, I guess it's all about figuring out who you are making the videos for. I think when I started making videos, I made videos for myself because I wasn't really content with any videos at the time that were on YouTube. Didn't really suit me, so I started experimenting a little bit with making videos that I thought were for someone like me. And then it's just grown into something else, I guess, along the way. But having like, who are you making videos for, I think is kind of an important, like, who's your audience, and do you have anything, like, what would make your videos different to the videos that already exist? Because you don't have to be elite, and you don't have to be like making super produced videos, but you will be standing next to elites and people that make very produced videos. And so what do you bring to the table that might make people interested in watching your videos, if that's what you're after, if you after views and not just content with, maybe not getting views. So I'd say that's two pretty vital things. Yeah. Then there's lots of things that could be said about making YouTube videos, but if you've already been doing that, then you know stuff about that. I'm doing a lot of things wrong, not on purpose, but just because I don't really have the personality to do YouTube well, as in be a YouTuber that is very successful. And there's obviously people that stick out from that, but in general, if you look at YouTube, it does have a very specific format and is treated in a very specific way with a specific type of person when you look at the very sort of successful channels. Okay, enough about that. Mad Mage Crafting says, have you tried one-page rules? Their Age of Fantasy has great rules for all the Stormcast models. I've been giving it as a tip very many times, and I know that a lot of people that play games for the gameplay really appreciate one-page rules, which I think is cool. I have this thing about that I like when people make a game and a setting that they are really into, that is their thing. So for example, Turnip 28 is a guy called Max that has come up with this whole setting and idea and world, and like no one could do it but him. And I think that's really, really cool. And I try and push things like that. And that's sort of where I want to spend my time. One page rules, from what I understand, make really good, like rules that are great to play. But it feels like, they make alternative rules for other games, essentially. Someone else has come up with a game or an idea for a game, and they just make new rules for it. And for me, that's not really interesting. I want the entire kind of package. I know they make their own miniatures, that you can print and stuff like that, and that they have their own names on the things. But it's essentially, this is Warhammer 40k, but new rules, and Age of Sigmar new rules, and so on and so forth. And that doesn't really lure me in. And I'm not saying there is anything wrong with it. It's just not entirely my cup of tea, which is kind of running out, by the way. Jules says, "Merry Christmas, Alex, from the west of Wales. Good luck with that. West Wales, east, west. Never been to the west of Wales, but Merry Christmas." David says, "The only way I can paint armies is by using small-scale minis. They're much quicker to paint." I kind of find them a bit fiddly because I try and paint exactly the same way, just they're smaller, and so it kind of takes me longer. I think I'm really practicing. I wouldn't maybe say army painting, but just trying to let go and have a plan of like, okay, this is just these are going to be green. These are my green troops, and I'm kind of very envious of people who just do tabletop standard efficiently, and it still looks proper, nice gaming pieces, and you go through a squad in an evening, and you're done, and you move on, and then you have a game to play. And I'm like, well, look at me, I'm still brown. It's an hour and 15 minutes later, it's like meditating my way towards a finished miniature is not the best attitude towards getting an entire army on the table. Are you upset? Says, "Thank you for doing this stream." My pleasure, and happy holidays. Lee Sweeney, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Happy holidays to you as well. And Merry Christmas, David. It's good to see you. Spicy Pete says, "Great advice." That was regarding the YouTube. I hope it works out. Mad Mage Crafting. Merry Christmas for your first month's Patreon for one page rules. See comments. The advanced rules set provides a lot of value. That was after me bashing it. I'm sorry, Mad Mage Crafting. I guess I'll have to get it now and just try it out. I need something for my Age of Sigmar armies. But thank you very much for the donation. I hope you get my point. I think it's strange that writing rules. I'm not going to say it's strange that writing rules is such a tricky thing. It's just interesting to see when there seems to be certain rule sets that people really like to play, and a lot of one-page rules games are that. And so why doesn't just sort of other companies just copy it and go, this seems to work well? Instead, people try and make new systems and people don't like them. I don't know. But thank you, Mad Mage Crafting. I really appreciate it. Stretch says, "Thank you for reminding me of Ursula Le Guin. Wizard of Earthsea was probably the first book I truly enjoyed reading, and I bought the first 4 books. Cool. I like them too. Um, I think I read them after something that was very fast paced, like Abercrombie book or something like that, and I was a bit like, "There's not much happening here. Still just out walking the hills with sheep, and we're through half a book," kind of thing. But I really like them too. It's just, I think sometimes one has to be conscious of how one reads and what one reads. And there's like certain books are meant to be just page turners and it's fast and there's action and there's all these things happening and you're like, wow, that was nice. And then maybe you need to go take a breather and smoke a cigarette before you. No, I shouldn't be saying that. Um, Meditate for a bit and take a refreshing walk, breathing only fresh air. Um, Before you start reading another book that is maybe not as fast paced or whatever. I wonder if one could have like palate cleansing book, like some, like always read like a chapter out of the same book in between books or something, just to like neutralize what happened in the last one. I don't know. Just don't smoke any cigarettes, children. It's dangerous for you. You might burn your fingers. Um, can you hear it? It's like this big. Um, okay, sorry. This is natural YouTuber behavior. I'm actually stretched doing another. I've decided to invigorate the book recommendation videos. Um, my last couple of videos have been doing pretty good, and so I'm very happy about that. There was a stretch of videos there that was doing really poorly, and I was very upset. Not because I don't think I'm upset because of the fact that the videos are doing poorly. It's kind of like just the reasons why they're doing poorly that are reasons that I don't understand sometimes, which is like, oh, I put the wrong image in the thumbnail, and so only a tenth of the amount of people that normally watch a video are doing it this time, which feels stupid when you spend 2 weeks making a video and then it's just like whatever catchy title and whatever catchy image is what decides the video's fate and not the content. And that seems to have been taken even more to its extreme this past year. And I stopped doing book recommendation videos because they were doing really poorly, and I figured it was kind of like just confusing the algorithm and pulling the stats down, because it's like YouTube tries to understand what you're doing so that it can recommend you to people, and then you start doing book recommendations when you should be painting miniatures, and it's like, I can't handle it, and everything just explodes and all the flies attack, and there's dragons, and um, um, but because things, because I just don't understand how it works at all right now, and because a lot of videos just crash. It's like, okay, well, let's see ya. Then I figured, then I might as well be doing the book recommendation videos, because screw you, Tube. Um, and so I recorded one that will be released, I think, next week, Thursday, maybe, perhaps maybe, like right after New Year's or something like that. I think I've actually recommended a few of those because I've been sneaking book recommendations into other videos to hide them from the common folk, the plebs that don't want to read books. I'm sorry. This is not how you get new patrons, Alex. You need to be nice to the people, otherwise they don't join your patron. Please join the patron, by the way. But I think I'm recommending 3 books in the next book recommendation video, and I think 2 of those I've already recommended but hidden in other videos. But I figured I'm kind of rebooting the series and then doing it proper. But so hopefully, Stretch, you get some more recommendations out of that. Joseph Kirkpatrick. Merry Christmas, Alex. Your videos are awesome, giving a nice cozy vibe. Currently working on my own bunker. Nice one. I'm glad to hear it, Joseph, and thank you. And Merry Christmas to you as well. Hobbiton, God Jul, which means Merry Christmas in Swedish. Greetings from the west coast of Sweden. Have you tried any Song of Ice and Fire? I haven't. I know of it, but I haven't tried it. I have a thing. I talk about this sometimes. So, for instance, I really like Star Wars. I think Star Wars is very cool. I grew up, with Star Wars, as many of us did. And so I think, for example, that it's awesome to play with like stormtroopers and troops. But then someone wants, for some reason, to play like characters. And so you have like Luke Skywalker and whatever. And then they sculpt the minis and it looks like the actors. So you've got Harrison Ford running around on your table. And I'm like, I don't want Harrison Ford in my imaginary world. He can go crash his plane somewhere else. And a little bit the same kind of goes with us at start, from the beginning, with a Song of Ice and Wind and Fire, whatever. Is it kind of like the TV series ruined it for me? I've read all the books, I watched the series, I really like it, but then when I see the game, for some reason, I just see the TV series in front of me, and that kind of has ruined a little bit the imagination I need to paint the minis and to play the game. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing. So I'd rather like paint minis and play games of worlds that haven't already been explained to me and that hasn't been played by actors. So same thing with The Hobbit. I think it's great, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, it's like I'm painting Ian McKellen now. It's ruined it. That's just me. It's a strange thing. I know. I don't know why that is. Sarah says, hi all and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well, Sarah. And Chris, I hope you're doing well, Chris. I'm guessing you're kind of maybe a little bit busy at the moment, but I hope you're doing well and maybe Merry Christmas. Lee Sweeney, I send everyone towards this channel, and as you seem to respect your watchers. Was that before I called them plebs or after, Lee? David says, glad to have your company while I paint and add to my orc mob. I'm glad to hear it. Orcs kind of are the best thing in wargaming. I just, for some reason, have never collected orcs and never played orcs. And yet, I mean, I have orcs, don't get me wrong, and I paint orcs, but I've never been like the full-on orc. Everything should be orc, but it kind of should be, because it's a bit like the best thing in wargaming, really. Joseph says, love a good cigarette. Shh, Joseph. It's actually really weird. I haven't smoked in cigarettes in probably 20 years, apart from the odd one every now and again, and some cigars and stuff. And then in Sweden, we have something called snus, which is essentially tobacco in a little, wasn't usually in a little pouch. Usually it was just tobacco that was a bit wet that you smudged into a ball and you put it under your lip. But then, a few years back, they started putting it in pouches and whatever, and now there's that kind of stuff everywhere that doesn't even have tobacco in it. It's just tastes like chewing gum, but it's the nicotine in it or whatever. And I've been doing that on and off, and like quit this summer or something like that. So I haven't like touched nicotine since summer, maybe. But I swear, I dream every night is like, imagine that scene from what's that scene with the creepy actor? he falls in love with his uh, daughter's friend from school. Um, beautiful something, whatever. There's a scene where it's like raining rose petals, and he dreams of her. When anyway, it's kind of like that. Only it rains cigarettes. Like I dream of smoking cigarettes, and I haven't smoked a cigarette for 10 years, whatever. It's very strange experience. Um, so yeah, it's fun. Mad Music Mad. Hi, hey everyone, Music Mad. Hope you're doing well. David Hurst says, thrilled to see your video with Mini Wargaming Dave. You were a 30-minute drive from my home, and it was wonderful to see you experiencing a small part of my country and making it look better on camera. I appreciate it, David. It was a great time meeting Dave. He's asked me if I want to come back, but I haven't really. I had a great time meeting Dave. We had so much fun. It's really difficult with the money, because we organized that sponsor for that video, which was Dave organized that. Essentially, he sponsored it through not through Mini Wargaming, but through the Kickstarter that they were doing. Ravage Star essentially sponsored that video. So I made a video for Ravage Star so that I could go and visit Dave. But then I spent, a week there, and that means I wasn't a week at home. So I was kind of working for free for a week, and then, and not getting any money from sponsors, because that just paid for the ticket to fly there. It wasn't money that was paying my bills, so in the end, it's just, it would be great to do it, but it would need like really heavy sponsoring, so it could pay for the ticket and for actually being there working and doing stuff, and that kind of money doesn't exist when you're at the level of views that I'm at, so it'd be great to do things like that again, but it's essentially doing it just because you want to not eat well for a while. And so I had a great time, but it was a bit of a struggle afterwards, just to catch up with trying to do things that generated income, basically. But it was a beautiful place of the world. I went out running every morning around that town, which is great. There's that sort of channel that I ran up and down the channel and stuff. You call it channel? You wouldn't it? Numi says something in German and then says, wait, this isn't a German stream. This is a Swedish stream. It is. God jul, Numi. Hope you're doing well. Solari says, thanks for calling me a pleb. I will now cancel my Patreon. Oh, I had the opposite effect. Damn it. Birdcart says, Harrison crashed his plane not too far from my house. Good morning and Merry Christmas. Good morning to you as well. I'm really excited to hear where your channel's new direction goes this year. Well, that's a nice little topic, isn't it? Birdcart. Essentially, I want to try and do more regular live streams, which is something I've been talking about always. It's just very difficult when, on one side, I'm also a freelance photographer, and I'm also a dad every other week. So a single dad every other week, which means every other week. It's not like I can have someone else pick my son up from school during that entire week. I have to do all the leaving at the school and picking up from the school and all the cooking and all the homeworks and all of it. And then I also run the channel, and I also have dabble a bit with a little music studio that I need a clone. But also, just finding the time to do the streams is not something that works after office hours, which is something that would be good because more people are free to watch stream after office hours. But I'm just going to have to try and start doing streams during office hours. That's at least something that I want to try out. So that's a plan for next year, is doing regular streams, essentially during times when maybe not so many people can watch, but at least they can be regular. I so want to just kill that fly. Would you mind if I just try and kill that fly? Just give me a bit, you know. And I mean, sorry to all sort of vegetarians and whatnot, but that's what I call a job well done. Another plan is I really need to finish my big wargaming table, because that's been a year soon and it's been left behind. I'm going to be doing more Infinity content, is at least the plan. There's a slight chance I might be leaving the bunker, but that's still very loose, and I don't want to give myself panic yet, because I don't really know where I will be ending up. But I might have to leave that that premises, so to speak. But I don't really know where to go, so I'm not really thinking about it at the moment. But that's just very much up in the air at the moment. So, and then I think that's about it. I'm talking with a friend about starting another YouTube channel, but that's very loose. It's called 53 Miniatures, because I felt like, it's time to expand. Just kidding. But there will be news on that if that happens. I'm kind of sort of working on some miniatures with a friend, like some sculpts. But that's also just kind of very loose at the moment. Nothing excessively decided, but we'll see. So that's some news, Birdcott. Thanks for asking. Hello, Marek. Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas, Zero. And Merry Christmas, Dying to Paint. Spicy Pete says, do love a good cigar. What's your preference, if you're allowed to say, bloody YouTube? Probably a Maduro or something, the darker kind of things. Yeah. Ooh, now this is a nickname. Miss Hissifit, aka Proo Proo, says, Merry Christmas in Norwegian language. I'm jumping in to recommend reading Fahrenheit 541 and The Hidden Life of Trees. The last two books I've read. Gladly enjoyed both. Can I screenshot this? Or can I copy it just straight out the chat? Thank you, Proo Proo. Hope you're doing well, by the way. Okay, and paste this into a document somewhere. Sorry, I'm doing important things. But I've realized when people give book recommendations, sometimes my mind goes, yeah, I'll remember that. Oh wait, that didn't work. Why can't I copy that? No, I don't want to report. No, stop it. Stop. I'm sorry. This is not. YouTube is trying to be intelligent. Okay. When I get book recommendations, I nowadays always just get a hold of them straight away, because otherwise I can never ever find them again. There we are. Copy paste. Thank you. Dying to Paint, Kevin Spacey, American Beauty. That's the one. It's just yeah. Thanks. Prupru asks, do you have a favorite subject and or style of photography at the moment? Um, Style of photography. I've not really. I see a good photograph and then I say that's a nice photograph, or I don't. There's not. Mm, I enjoy that for some reason. Like when I started working as a photographer, it was actually still an analog world, because most professional photographers, sort of in the higher end of the spectrum, I guess, were using medium format analog film. There was no digital camera that was up to the specs of the resolution you would get from a medium format negative. That obviously changed through the years, and still um, getting there. But I grew up working as an assistant, and everything was analog and working in dark rooms and stuff like that. And then it got totally wiped out, the analog world, in a way, apart from a lot of more successful um, fashion photographers and stuff like that would use film, just because skin tones and stuff like that are kind of easier to handle on film. Um, and obviously, if you're really successful, you can just do whatever you want, because money's not an issue. But I was on a point where you try and explain to a client why all of a sudden everyone else is $400 or $500 cheaper because they're not using film. So anyway, the analog thing seems to be returning, more in a hobby kind of situation, but a lot of sort of new people are starting to look at photography as a hobby, and especially the analog side of things, which I think is just really, really fun. So there's one. It's another fly. Okay. We've got a second recommendation for the hidden life of trees. Thank you very much. I should I should definitely check it out then. Hooked on Funk says, all the best for next year. Hope your plans work out for the best. Thank you for the stream and keeping company on my painting session. Take care. It's great to have had you here, Hooked on Funk. Lee Sweeney is giving me screen capture tips, and I appreciate it. I'm just really scared of using like any kind of commands on a keyboard while live streaming, because all of a sudden you accidentally press the like end live stream command, if there is one. So otherwise, yes. I'm on a MacBook, however, so it's probably something similar, but with an S or a 4 in it or something. I usually figure it out after a few tries. Okay, my dear friends, my tea has gone cold. I need to put more fire in the stove, and so I think there is also a fly that needs to be taken care of, and so I believe I'm going to end this stream. Chris just said something interesting. There is a recently opened collective here in Amman that are running a dark room. We've been helping to smuggle dry chemicals in for them. That's pretty cool, Chris. If they ever need any tips on things, I've done that as a professional. But it was a very long time ago, so I can hardly remember anything. I just remember all the chemicals were fun. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope those of you that are, without company on a day like this, that you've gotten a little bit more of a company out of this stream. More importantly, I just think this is you read a lot of seasons greetings everywhere, but it's nice to be able to actually say it to you face to face, even though I can only see my face. Kind of tired of that face. Been seeing it for a year now or more, almost 43 years I've been seeing that face. It always stares back at me. Anyway, that was odd. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year. Thank you all that have been watching videos, watching live streams, commenting, liking, joining patrons, buying me coffees, buying me books. You know, all the support means that I can put more and more time into making videos. Maybe one day in the future far away, this can be a full-time venture, who knows? But I've had a great year. Now I'm actually going to try and paint some, because I obviously can't talk, hunt flies, and paint at the same time. It's been great seeing you. Take care, and again, happy holidays.